Finally, in our last step, I think we're ready to generate volume reports and mass haul diagrams. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can actually show what every cross-section looks like. That's one thing you can do. You can do a mass haul. You can just have it give you quantities for earthwork. And all of this is going to be tied between the existing topo surface, the surface of your road, the way you've set up your profile over here, and how much cut and fill you're going to need. So let's start by having it draw a mass haul diagram. You can click on this. We want it to use the First Street alignment and the First Street sample line group that we've created. You can go in and set all of your options here. You can put in a free haul distance if you're using that, and you can add a borrow pit or a dump site if you want to use that anywhere. When you click create diagram, it's going to ask you where you want to put it. We'll find a place over here, and you can see along our length between station 0 and our end station, we went just a little past 10. It looks like we start out on our mass diagram, and we start out actually needing to borrow some material, and then at the end it looks like we have a little bit of excess where we've cut. And remember what a mass haul is. It's showing you if you have a pile of dirt on your project and you have to fill somewhere, your pile of dirt's going to get smaller. This line is graphing how much volume your pile of dirt has in it. So, it looks like we start out at 0, and because this starts at 0 and not at a specific number like a lot of ours do, it actually looks like the whole entire project we're going to have extra that we've cut out. So, across to the first station, we had to cut out a little bit. Through the second station, we had to cut out a little bit more. And across 10 whole stations, we're ending up cutting somewhere maybe 3,500 feet, or 3,500 cubic yards. If you go look at your profile for that, it does look like we're staying pretty close to existing grade, but if you remember, this is your surface of your road. We're going to go down another 1.5 feet to dig out of the existing grade to get to where the bottom of our subbase is going to go. So if we were to move this maybe up a little bit, it would definitely require some fill. Let's see if we can move it up a little bit and see what that looks like. So right in here, let's move that up pretty high, if we can get our snap to work there. So on this one, we're starting out, and we're definitely going to have to put some fill in here. Even to raise the bottom of our subbase up, we're probably going to have some fill. Whenever we rebuild this, you can see that we have that error symbol over here. We can just tell it to rebuild all of our corridors, and everything will be updated. That's one nice thing about Civil 3D. It should update everything, including our mass haul. And so sure enough, we start at 0, it goes up a little bit, and then it's going to go down a little bit. Where we're graphing the volume required, that changed as we updated our profile. You can also see over here, it's definitely going to update where your cut and fill goes. And this actually looks not quite right. It looks like our surfaces got a little off here. Not quite sure what happened on that one, but it did update your mass haul diagram. Looks like maybe something with the existing grade was off. If we move this back down, let's see if that fixes it. Typically you want to stay pretty close to existing grade anyway. Let's rebuild all. See if that looks a little better. Yeah, the mass diagram looks about the same as where it started. We still have some surface issues up here. It looks like it's that datum surface. And I don't know that rebuilding it would really fix it, but that should get you your basics for at least drawing your mass haul. Now what you can also do is have it calculate a volume report for you. And this will just give you a straight table. So if we're looking at the First Street, again, the sample lines for First Street, and we can say okay. It should open up a web page for you, and it'll ask you, if you really want to open it, sure. But it should give you, at every station, your cumulative fill volume and net volume. Because whenever you cut something away, a lot of times you can reuse it somewhere else. So at the end, it's going to tell you your net volume in the end. So it ended up being 4,270 cubic yards. That's a lot, but it's also over 10 stations, so that's pretty far away. But you can just tell at every single one kind of what your earthwork quantities are. The other thing you can have it do is actually draw a one cross section for you, very similar to the earthwork problems that we've talked about. So if we want to draw that cross section, we're going to go into the Home tab, we'll go to Section Views, and for now let's just create one section view. You don't have to do every single one. We'll do one section view. We want to do it on First Street, and it's going to ask you which one of the sample lines do you want. So you can pick one really anywhere, and then if you want to give it a special name, you can pretty much set all the properties and how you want to view it. When you create your section view and say where you want to put it, it'll actually give you your little cross section. Now in this cross section, there's lots of labels here. See if we can move some of those out of the way. It likes to label everything. And I'm sure in the style settings you can go in and change what's being labeled. It's going to give you all of the offsets and all of the information everywhere. But if you zoom way in and ignore these arrows a little bit, you're going to see your road cross section. And so this is your road, and your finished grade is right here, or existing grade is there. Your road is here, and if you hover over, it'll tell you, this is the earthwork that needs to be done to get between your finished grade. And actually the finished grade for your road, this is the crown of your road, and this is where it comes off to the side, and you'll have a curb put in, and then you'll have cut and fill here to get you back up to your existing grade. So this is where your road is actually going lower than what existing grade is. If we go up to our profile and look at Station 4, our road and our the bottom of our subbase should be lower than existing grade. It's going to be right in here, and sure enough, the road is lower than existing grade. And that's what that section is showing you. That highlighted kind of white area in here, that's the amount of cut you're going to have to do to get down to where your road is going to go. So you'd cut all of that out from existing down to where your road fills in at. But this shows you your cross section. And we sampled 50 feet out on either side. Our boundary doesn't go that far though, so that's why you can see there's actually a little bit of cut even out here, but it didn't go too far. And everywhere, it's giving you a lot of data where it's looking at and what the elevation is, and what kind of offsets you have. So anyway, that's just a little bit of what the earthwork can do. It can give you quantities, it can draw mass haul diagrams, and you can do this for every street and every region of every street. And as long as you do your sample lines and your materials first, then mass haul diagrams are pretty straightforward in here.